We
No.
are the apostates.
No. We were all laughing. It wouldn't make sense.
We are apostates. And we are on the fringe.
Jesus Christ. I'm just going to mouth my mic over here. Let's go. You got this, Sam. All right, I'm with you. We're feeling it.
Okay.
We're feeling it.
We're feeling it.
Welcome.
Feeling it.
Definitely feeling it.
Give me a second.
All right.
Are
Welcome.
You feeling it?
Welcome.
You're a dick. Oh, you're a fucking dick. Every fucking time.
Welcome to Apostates on the Fringe. I am an apostate, and I'm on the fringe. My name also happens to be Sam.
God damn it, Sam. I'm Dustin.
Alistair.
And this show is sponsored by the Atheist Society of Knoxville. Sam, what are you drinking? Because you've had to start
I'm
already.
drinking
Jesus Christ.
another pumpkin ale.
Is it a different one? Like different
it's called Pumpkin Ale ! It's
Wait,
by Land Shark.
Land Shark?
Lion shark?
I don't know, it's just got a shark. Isn't that the name of the thing? It's got a shark on it. I can't read. It's too dark in here. We keep it dark in here for people at home to visualize.
Sam gets
purple
frightened
lighting.
by bright lights, so I have to keep it low sensory in here.
Don't feed me after midnight either.
Fucking mogwai. What do you got, Al?
I'm drinking the patriarchy one again.
How is that? I never asked how actually it was, because I was just enamored by the name.
Very rich.
Is it like very sweet?
Yeah.
Is there like a bad aftertaste because of it? Like, do you have problems drinking more than one or two because of how sweet it is?
I have a trouble drinking more than one or two because it's thick like syrup.
Oh, that is not good for when it's this warm. I guess you didn't know, obviously, when you got it. I'm still on water. This is week 3 of no drinking for Dustin. Sober September for me, so I'm drinking water that's out of my reach. I'm going to get the producer to hand it to
It's
me.
really only 2 full weeks. Didn't your week start?
It literally
on
started. So
Thursday?
day 1 was literally our first
Okay.
record. And there's 5 Thursdays this month, so
Okay.
that's fun. I have 5 boring weeks of no drinking while I go through this. And if I'm tired this week, you guys, I ate myself into a food coma this earlier today for lunch. I went to every time I go to Athens, I'm always like kind of peer pressured by my manager there. To go to, because there's great eateries in Athens. Like, it's an odd place because it's such a small town, but they have like some really good places. And unfortunately, I overeat all the time there. He's a big dude. This guy is easily like 6'4", 350. Like, he was a football player, like very big guy. He wrestles, but he could put away some food. And I'm like, I feel like kind of pressured to like try to keep up in some regards, but I can't. And so I went to this Chinese buffet place with him today, and it's one of the best ones I've had, especially here in Tennessee, because the ones here in Knoxville are just garbage, I think.
Yeah.
There's no good buffets in Knoxville that I enjoy, but I went one there.
What the fuck are you eating at a buffet?
Do I know? Well, so you have to have a plastic glove. Like everyone has to have gloves to touch everything. Like they'll legit like kick you out of the shit if you're trying to go through there without putting the protective gloves on to serve yourself.
Are they making everybody wear a mask?
Yeah, if they're not at their table, they have to have a mask on, and they have to have the gloves on while they're going through their.
Even at Athens.
Even in Athens, what's this business trying to stay open? I guess I don't know, but I ate too much, like I always do, and my body's spending like 90% of my energy right now digesting the massive amounts of food I ate today. So if I fall asleep during this record, that's my bad. We'll
keep you up with all the hot news that has happened
this week. The hot news that has happened this week, the major events that have happened this week.
It's been a big week.
Well, I wanted to... So Tuesday, after we had our ass meeting, I went home and I was like, I'm going to watch the recall election, because it was kind of a big deal for California, because I know I spoke about it briefly, because it's a fucked up system and how it works, and how I broke it down last time. And it started, the coverage of the polls closed at 8 Pacific, so 11 p.m. here. So I queue up the CNN, and I'm ready for kind of a long night, because I don't know how this is going to go. Results, they're all mail-in, so. But no, 45 minutes in, they fucking called it easily. Gavin Newsom kicked the shit out of that election. It was like roughly 67% of the vote went to saying no, do not recall.
But there's still plenty of reason to be pissed at it.
Oh yeah, it was unnecessary and cost. How much was the estimate of the cost?
I think I got an actual number now. I was guesstimating before. $276 million.
$276 million spent on a wasted election because they have nowhere near the support that needed to recall him.
That's the Republican strategy, is just waste everyone's time. Waste his time 2021. Waste everyone's time, drag it out, do every obstructionist thing you can. That's their only strategy at this point.
Did you, what was that cat's name? Larry Elder, I believe, was the front runner for Republican side. Did you see some of his, like, what he supported? Like, he doesn't support minimum wage is one of the
period,
things. Like,
at all.
No, period, like $0. Like, he is a garbage monster of a human being. Like,
So libertarian.
I think he's a hard Trumper too. And he uses...
Bill.
And he's black, but he uses race as a weapon, and he thinks like the Black Lives Matter is the horrendous thing. Like I think he's just playing off of the base. I don't know if he even believes the things he's saying. I think he's playing off the base.
Well, that makes him even worse. I don't know if that makes him better.
I mean, that's a lot of Republicans, though. That's a lot of
the
Republicans. That anyone who can capitalize off of the Trump base just by saying the things that they like can make a lot of money off of that.
They really can. I think Candace Owen and other people like that have figured that out. I have a hard time thinking some of these people actually believe the bullshit that's coming out of their own mouths.
They don't have to. All they have to do is just say it and make their
base
believe. If they can make their audience believe that they believe it, then they'll make some fucking money off it, because they are. Mm-hmm. If what we've learned, I mean, we know Then they donate their own money towards Trump's wall, like some $30 million GoFundMe. Like, they'll spend money because they're stupid,
right?
And they know it. So, I mean, I fault them for being pieces of shit and doing that and doing these garbage and saying these garbage things. But they're also taking advantage of these stupid GOPers, and it's kind of, a Schadenfreude sort of thing. But
it's moving money from people's hands who are incapable of doing much into hands that are capable of doing much. So like it's a problem. The fact that because it's not just like a wall that can't get built and the money has to be refunded. It's organizations doing a lot of harm and getting into our politics and like affecting that. So like these fucking grifters.
We've seen a lot of grifters popping up since 2016.
Especially like in the Republican Party, that's who it's targeting most of.
And part of me thinks that the majority, I think even a large majority of these cats. At first, I thought the Mike Pillow guy was latching on to get money, but no, he's actually batshit insane. And that was my first thought. But for a lot, like the Candace Owen and her ilk, I do truly think that they're just latching on to the ride to get those funds and that support, because it's an easy base to tap into. It's super fucking easy. It's a super fucking easy thing to do and easy to get money from. All they have to do is attack the certain talking points and be a Trump supporter, and then act like a victim somehow in the midst of that, and they get all the support from them. It's a very easy thing to do.
Did you guys watch Biden's little speech last week? Did you?
Last week regarding which one?
Some of it, but did you actually watch it or?
I did not. Which speech are you referring to?
The one where he talked about the mandates that were going in for the vaccine.
Oh, yeah, where he was like saying that we've run out of patience for the unvaccinated.
Shade on Fox.
The shade.
Shade on Fox.
Oh, the shade on Fox News thing was fairly recent. They came out, and the White House basically came out and I guess thanked and congratulated the Fox News for implementing even stricter guidelines because they're testing daily. They require them to test daily if they're not vaccinated. Well, versus the weekly mandate.
During the announcement, he brought up Fox News and them already having mandates. So he's thrown their name out a couple of times, being like,
that's gonna piss off Tucker Carlson and fucking Sean Hannity, who still to this day. I mean, did you see his segment on fucking Nicki Minaj?
I saw there was a headline talking about it, but I didn't.
Yeah, he had to issue a correction. It was one of the best corrections I'd ever seen, because it was regarding a tweet that Nicki put out.
Oh God. Oh, yeah, that was
saying
stupid as
that
shit, too.
her cousin's friend's testicles got swollen after the vaccine. And so Tucker had initially reported, and it was weird to see him with trying to maintain a straight face, saying, well, we have to issue a correction. It was not Nikki's cousin that had the swollen testicles. It was Nikki's cousin's friend who
His
had
roommate's brother.
Yeah, and I'm just that was one of the oddest corrections I think I'd ever seen. But that's the one. Like a lot of tweets come out like, "Bro, that's chlamydia. Like, go get checked out by an MD. You have an STI."
Yeah.
Like that is not. And like Fauci came out and just like slapped the shit out of her statement too as well.
Nicki Minaj is like, why is my wet ass pussy burning? Must be the vaccine.
Yeah, so when I heard this story, not only was it that his testicles got swollen, but like it was the week before the wedding, but like the lady like left him as well. Like they called the wedding off, I think, as well.
Because he has swollen testicles?
Mm-hmm. Because if she knew that it was not from the vaccine, it was probably some from like he had one last fling, some premarital fling apparently that she found out about.
Yeah, and he was like,
He's like,
no,
no,
it's the vaccine.
Yes, exactly.
And then the White House actually offered to have a White House official talk to Nicki Minaj and answer her questions. And I want to listen to the recording if it happened.
I wonder if that'd be available under the FOIA request.
Yeah,
Probably not.
We need to hear Nikki's questions.
Would she even have any like valid questions? Probably not. I wouldn't imagine so. But since I was speaking about Fauci, something I wanted to talk about was a kind of a meme I saw and shared to our page earlier today regarding science kind of correcting itself. And I started to think about a lot of the comments I've seen in the news stories, especially when Fauci's name is mentioned at any point. And one of the biggest gripes that people have is that he changes, he's never consistent. He changes his mind. He says this thing and now he says this thing. And what people don't understand is that the fundamental basics of science is that it's self-correcting. When COVID came out, when we first discovered COVID, it was a novel coronavirus. It was new. We had very little information about it. And so the information that came out slowly and steadily, it changed over time for what we knew. We didn't know how it was transmitted, how highly transmissible it was, how long it lasted on surfaces. And so the guidance and guidelines constantly changed. But people can't seem to grasp that science doesn't have all the answers all the time that are always consistent because it changes based on the evidence that comes to us. So one of the problems that these people that don't understand science don't grasp is that it can change. And that's why these people are so fucking salty, because the issues with mask mandates or the CDC guidance regarding masks and indoors and outdoors, it changes it constantly, and it revised itself several times as we knew more and more about the novel coronavirus. But people don't think critically. All they think is, and it could be the talking points from the right-wingers or the misinformation they learn on TikTok, but they don't understand that everything's being done in accordance with following the science, and they get pissed off because it's changing. They don't understand that it's not a set-in-stone thing.
The Bible is, though. The Bible is. The Bible is always the same. It doesn't change. Science changes. That's one of their arguments for that.
But there's nothing scientific about the Bible or anything in it. In fact, a lot of the science. In fact, the very first fucking chapter of the Bible is one of the most scientifically inaccurate things regarding the creation story.
That's the example of how their brain works. They're not taught to be the right Christians. They are people who have literally been taught to shut down their critical thinking skills so that they can be blindless followers to their church, the right fascists.
It has to be something
they've shut it down, and they religion is brainwashing. The whole point is to shut down those critical thinking values. So when you have something like science, which tells you to ask questions and update with new information that goes completely against everything that is taught to them.
Yeah, so that's one thing I never understood, because as things changed with what we learned with the current, I just kind of went with what the experts told us as they found out, and just went with the guidance they put out.
Because they know a lot more about this shit than I do.
I'm not a virologist. I'm not an epidemiologist. I don't know these things,
You're
and
taught to
I
just
surely don't know
trust
anything about
experts.
microbiology. I mean, very little, but. Not once did I just think that they were lying to us. That's what they think. These people think because it's changing all the time that they're lying to them.
They're taught to get their information from a singular figurehead and not from like sources. That's why, like I said, they don't really have opinions until they when a news story comes out, they have to like watch Tucker Carlson, they have to watch Fox News, they have to go to their preacher. They have to be told how they think about something.
That's why when you get in arguments with them online in the news comments, their responses are all identical. They repeat the same things
what they're told to
over
parrot.
and over. Because they're not thinking about these things. They're just being told what is from who, and like they only put that trust into certain people.
Reason why I brought it up, because it's largely anytime Fauci's name is mentioned, like they have a severe hate for this man, because
I
guess because he's also against everything they stand for, because he's taken away their freedoms, I guess, in
I
their
hardly
minds.
hear anything about Hillary anymore.
Have you
Like,
not?
they
move on to new enemies fast.
Yeah, it's all Fauci now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what recent article I saw, but like it just hordes of comments like, I don't know how anyone can still trust or listen to this man. I'm like, I mean, the nation's top, expert on this. Yeah, I think we're going to kind of listen to what, his expertise has to say. This man has been in the field of science for decades and advised 2-3 presidents. What source do these people have that is greater than the information that he has and the vast resources that this man has with the CDC? And
if he's that knowledgeable, then he can easily manipulate information.
He's part of the Illuminati triangles. Speaking of the Illuminati, how stupid was that fucking Met Gala?
The only thing I saw with the Met Gala was everyone getting pissed off about AOC in that dress.
Yeah, people on both sides getting pissed off at that dress.
So people were juxtaposing like that image based on, and then saying, here's this with the tax rich. Meanwhile, attending a Met Gala that has a $35,000 a ticket attendance fee that she didn't pay.
She didn't pay. You can't really hate on AOC. Like, she was a goddamn bartender before she got where she is. It's not like she's made her whole life out of fucking people over to get ahead.
She wasn't the only official from New York that was invited. Fucking Bill de Blasio and his wife was invited. AOC, which is a representative of New York, was invited, and and de Blasio's ticket was comped as well by the Met Museum, which was donated, by the way. I don't hear anyone shitting on Bill de Blasio.
But she got a free ticket. She knew cameras would be all over her. And she used that opportunity to wear a dress with "Eat the Rich" down the
tax the rich.
Tax the rich. Sorry, tax the rich.
The dress, by the way, was also designed and donated for use. So I don't know what everyone's all pissy about. I guess because they don't care to learn that she didn't pay that, or
because people want to hate on AOC any chance they get.
I truly hope she runs for president. I love me some AOC. I love her Twitter. I mean, she will. I love how she can just destroy anyone that comes at her on Twitter. She's very well written, well spoken. I think she's a classy person as well. But like, she's vicious on Twitter. Like, she gives zero fucks when she comes back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even as a freshman congresswoman, no fucks given on that Twitter feed. She came out strong, and I love how she doesn't care to troll the haters too. You guys remember when that dancing video came out, like that surfaced from her? They showed some weird college dancing video thing.
Yeah.
Her response was to record herself dancing, making her way into her congressional office.
Yeah.
So like, I thought that was kind of funny of her. I'm a huge fan of AOC, and I know she's one of the progressive, further progressives, Bernie supporter as well.
I like
she's
how
only
she calls them out.
She does. So what other fuckery at the Met Gala are you referring to?
Oh, just rich people in general flaunting their richness. Someone said that it looked like the Hunger Games, the dresses that they wear at their balls. Like, that's the part of the dystopia we're at.
I don't even know the point of the Met Gala. I really don't.
It's like a fashion show, essentially, isn't it?
Oh, that's right. It was.
That's all that comes out of it is everybody talking about fashion. I kept hearing about Lil Nas X's golden outfit.
My favorite thing that I saw about him was saying, like, he was like a boss fight and they didn't do enough damage to see his final form.
I saw something briefly today. Didn't, like, one of the Kardashians, I think Kim, just show up, like, in a completely black fucking sock thing? Like, I don't know, like, completely covered head to toe. Like, she couldn't even see out of it or something like that. I don't even know. I saw the image, like, what the fuck is this even? Like, this is, like, I thought Lady Gaga showed up to events wearing stupid, silly shit. Like, this was next level extra.
Huh.
Yeah, I've seen some people wear some, like, blackout suits at, like, festivals at night, and you just wonder how they don't, like, get hit by a car or, like, someone just punched the weird guy.
Because you can see through it.
Kind of, sort of.
I don't know. I saw something just briefly on Reddit earlier. I was just kind of scrolling before you guys got here, and I saw this. I was like, what the fuck? Who? Like, that's a choice. Like, wearing that is a choice.
I like people just comparing them to anime characters in Dark Souls outfits.
So I got some good news this week.
What's that?
So that fucking pastor out in Middle Tennessee that I've been listening to, Greg Locke, he got his blue check mark. Oh, no, he didn't just lose his blue check mark. He's permanently banned from Twitter.
He's banned. Was he suspended or banned?
Banned.
He's permanently banned from Twitter?
Permanently banned.
And he went on a rant on Facebook
he did,
about
and it cracks me up because I listened to
of course
his sermon.
Facebook thinks he's cool still.
I listened to his sermon last week, though, and he was on this rant. I'm trying to listen to him all. I want to know what this fucker's up to. But he goes on this rant about how he doesn't give a shit about social media. He didn't care about a blue check mark. He's not in it for the likes. And so, I first get a screenshot of this account's been banned or whatever. And, like... I fucking lost where I was.
If you would stop trolling my dog, you would know where you were. So he was talking about how he didn't care about blue check marks.
So my first reaction was, this motherfucker better not go on a rant this Sunday about getting banned from Twitter after last week saying he didn't give a shit about social media. And I go to his page just out of curiosity, and sure enough, there's a fucking rant on there about getting banned from Twitter.
That was it a video rant, or was it just a something he typed out?
It was a video rant. It was long too.
So that happened after last Sunday, right? So it was Monday or Tuesday. So do you imagine it'll make an appearance on this Sunday?
When I listen to this Sundays, it should be.
What are the chances that you're going to make me fucking cut segments from that too for your little project?
Oh, you're going to have to do that at least for the next few weeks.
God damn it. Like, it's enough. At least if you give me timestamps, I don't have to listen to too much of his bullshit. Because it was but I have to at least watch that segment to make sure I get it all.
The thing is I'm not even giving you, like, the worst, most, like, excruciating parts of it. I'm just trying to give you the misinformation parts. But, like, it's all, like, even the parts where he's, like, preaching, it's horrible. And he jumps. Like, he was talking about, he's
all over the place.
Yeah, this week he started complaining about people who or somebody in the congregation said he talks about politics too much. He's like, 45 minutes of sermon, it's only a couple minutes of politics. No, it's fucking not. He puts that shit, like, he'll be talking about some story in the Bible, and then he goes on this rant about politics, and then he picks back up over here with the story of the Bible. And that's how the whole thing is. It's just... he's relating politics and religion.
Now, just for reminders for our listeners who don't recall, Pastor Greg Locke is which church was that again?
Global Vision Bible Church.
Right, and that's you said Middle Tennessee? Mm-hmm. And this is the guy who bans masks in his church and just freely signs out, like... vaccine religious
so,
exemption cards?
A friend of mine actually sent me a picture of the vaccination exemption things that he's sending out for companies and schools so kids, even though like the schools aren't requiring vaccinations for COVID right now, but yeah, he has the form already. He's saying he's sending out thousands and thousands of these vaccination. He was talking about that on his, not this past week, but the week before.
Good luck.
Yeah, he's doing that. He also has a connection to the fucking Proud Boys. Like, the Proud Boys go to Global Vision Bible Church in Nashville.
It makes sense from everything I've seen from him. I mean,
well, they're just there to provide security, but they also referred to it as my church.
Provide security.
Yeah. He says, him having security at his church says he's doing something right, because Jesus had haters too.
Aren't these the same cats that believe like God will protect them from everything else? Why do they have to have?
Well, but with guns, that's why we have guns.
So dumb.
He also apparently, he claims his house was broken into. He was almost in tears about his wife.
Almost in tears, I'm sure he was.
Yeah, how he's like, I've gotten these people so much that while I was away in South Carolina, I don't know where the fuck he was, but he's like, I was 6 hours away from home, and I get a notification saying that there's been an intruder in my home, and I just think the alarm is glitching out or something. But I missed the text from my wife too, and he said that apparently someone was driving up and down his road, and he's like, "They know my schedule. They're watching me."
Was this during another rant or during one of his sermons?
This is a sermon.
What?
This is during the sermon.
Is this the same sermon where he thinks like Nancy Pelosi is coming after him, or was that a separate one?
Yeah, this is the same one. Same one.
So I don't. Did you go to church when you were a kid?
Yeah, it wasn't like one church my whole life. I was exposed to quite a few different denominations.
How long would you say typically those services were?
God, I think from the time you enter that door, you should be walking out that door in an hour.
That's what I was thinking.
Like maximum, in 1 hour, you're out that fucking door, except for masses.
But
masses. See, I've been to some. Maybe those were like Christmas masses that seemed like they went on for hours and hours and hours.
So, when I was going to church in Indiana, it was a Baptist church, not like it was a Northern Baptist church, so it just seemed like normal to me. But it was, roughly about an hour. When I went to San Antonio and I lived with my stepmom, who was Jehovah's Witness, those were longer. Those were 2 hours, and those were excruciating. But standard services aren't that long. Greg Locke's fucking services.
I was listening to an hour and 45 minutes.
An hour and 45
of
fucking minutes, every time, right? Are they that long?
Yeah. It seems like that's the average.
Is he even preaching, or is that just his platform? Because what I saw from him, it wasn't anything so much as guidance or.
It's him boasting on himself.
Yeah, okay, that's what
patting
I
himself
got.
on the back a whole lot.
I got that.
I'd say it's a third of him boasting about himself. A third of him bitching about politics. 2/6 of him giving updates on the church, and then that other little sliver in there. Wouldn't it be 2/6? So whatever,
2/6 is a third.
Yeah.
Let's simplify things
so
in the
studio.
So
it'd be 1/6.
Okay.
And then. Yeah, the other.
I was just watching because it was just this man's just going on his own little rant to get up. It seemed very Trumpian to me, in so much as notice me, look at I'm not here to provide anything for you. Just listen to me rant.
No, this one I was really entertained because he was talking about being generous and how he's trying to teach his kids to be the most generous and all of this, but then he's I can't remember the exact phrasing, but it was pretty much to God. Be generous to God. But he's saying this give to Global Vision and let us do, put this money back in the community. But all he's doing is buying up more land and growing his own little cult. His cult. He's he's not. I haven't seen anything of him actually doing anything in the community and helping people in his congregation or anything like that yet.
No, I mean, from what I saw, from what you sent, and it was just, even there were small clips, I was like, this is just a man who wants a platform just to say what's on his mind, not so much as teach or lead or provide guidance whatsoever.
He's grifting.
Do I know?
He's grifting.
Oh, yeah.
He's giving these people, like, what they've always wanted, and he's getting fucking filthy rich off of it. Because, like, I'd like to see him deplatformed off of Amazon because he's able to upload. I guess he's already kicked. No, his videos are on YouTube, too. No, I don't know if I don't think they are. They're hosted on Amazon.
They're hosted on Amazon.
So Patriot Church hosts theirs.
Probably
on
because
YouTube.
because 2 of our episodes, once I started uploading to YouTube, 2 of our episodes got strikes. One I was able to reverse, and that's simply because we were probably parroting or mocking rather what these other right-wing idiots are saying, and we got strikes for that. I couldn't imagine that any one of his actual episodes or sermons doesn't get stricken or strike because of that.
So Amazon's hosting them now, and he's just spewing a bunch of misinformation, calling the vaccine rat poison fertilizer. He was propagating the election wasn't real bullshit by insinuating that Biden is not our real president. So he shouldn't. And he's getting money from people around the world who go online and listen to his sermon because he's gotten a lot of media attention.
All it took was that sign that says "No mask allowed" in my church.
He had gotten it before. That wasn't the first time he had gotten
because that's the one I see.
Attention.
Because I go to we all go to Herman Cain Award, and I've seen people sharing his post on more than one occasion.
Yep, he's got like national, international fame for his fucking antics.
Fucking grifters. So here's another grifter. This is from the Friendly Atheist over at patheos.com. Right-wing pastor is another grifter. Jackson Laymeyer, a conspiracy theorist who's running to primary a very conservative Republican senator from Oklahoma, last seen claiming Black Lives Matter was founded by lesbian witches.
Might be true.
I can neither confirm nor deny, but that's hilarious to me. Lesbian witches. Anyways,
I'm down.
He's now offering religious exemptions to the vaccines to anyone who wants them. All you have to do, he says, is become a member of his church. And if you don't live in his area, no problem. Just become an online member. Once your money goes through, presto, the exemption letter is yours. So what he says is, I'll sign as many as we need. You don't have to attend the services in person at Sheridan. We need you to become an online member. So, how you become an online member of Sheridan today, so I can sign your exemption form and have it carry some weight, you go to Facebook page. We need you to like the page. That's how you become a member. You like the page. And then you're going to make a one-time donation. So, he's essentially selling religious exemption cards to anyone who wants them.
Right.
Do we know if all these employers are even using these or allowing these religious exemption cards?
It's not going to work. Yeah, good luck using that on losing your job because you're at some place that has over 100 employees, which has been working so far.
I mean, if it were me, I'd get a one-time shot over having that goddamn stick stuck up my nose every week. If those are my 2 options, or leave my job.
It's not about that. It's about sending a message.
It's not only that, but then again, you're in the wrong demographic. I saw another survey that says that 90% of atheists have been vaccinated. This is also going on Friendly Atheist blog, whereas only 57% of evangelicals have. So it's not just a political divide; it's also an ideological divide.
I mean, that's what.
But
the
atheists tend to trust science.
Now.
Atheists, I think, by and large, tend to trust and accept science more readily than evangelicals, from what we were talking about before. But this person's easily just grifting these people to sign these cards or these religious exemptions that have no probably fucking meaning. Employers don't have to accept all religious exemptions if they can provide reasonable accommodation. A reasonable accommodation is fine. You just get tested every week.
Yeah.
It doesn't exempt you from getting tested. So I don't understand what their end game is here. Either they can just... Without the religious exemption card, even without that, they just say, no, I'm not getting a vaccine. I will just have to get tested every week. they'll have to do the same thing with or without that fucking letter. So why even do it?
They don't understand that. They don't. So they're being duped. They don't realize that in the end, it's going to be the same results. So they're going out, and then they also want to prove the point. Because even if they take that into HR, and HR's like, okay, we don't actually need this. If you're not getting the vaccine, you have to get tested, like once a week. And they roll their eyes at them. They're going to go online and be like, I took that into HR and they gave me a little bit of lip, but I got my religious exemption. And, they're going to play it off like they made some like ground with it. And
I actually submitted my religious exemption letter to HR this week.
Did you really send
I really
that
did.
in?
I really sent it in. Because so you can go to the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and you just enter the form, and it just basically prints your name on one spot, and then you enter your email, and they'll email you the form as well, where you can also download it. And the form says this, and it's hilarious. I'll just read it because it's real quick. Dear Sir or Madam, I'm writing as a representative of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster in support of a member of our congregation, myself. Please be advised that we have strict guidelines concerning what can enter our bodies. It is a deeply held belief and core tenet of our religion to avoid harmful substances. And in big bold, our members must not be exposed to or work in the proximity of unvaccinated individuals. While some may choose to not be vaccinated by going out in public, these people are knowingly taking the risk of infecting others with harmful virus particles. Please take all reasonable measures to help our members avoid contact with these unvaccinated individuals. Perhaps the unvaxxed could be placed in a special area to contain their emissions. And then like a brief thank you at the end. And the response I got was, I think they knew it was a joke because the title. First, they hadn't heard of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, so I had to send them the wiki. Put a pin in the wiki real quick. And then they also said, well, we'll just put them all the unvaxxed into a building by themselves. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. That's fine. But I hadn't been on the wiki before, the official Church of the Flying Spaghetti wiki. I read the Gospel of the Flying Spaghetti Monster years back. It was hilarious. If anyone hasn't read it, if you can pick it up, it's a fucking good read.
I have it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But I'm scrolling through there, and I see a list of individuals who have been accepted to allow a colander on their head while appearing for their driver's license photo. And there's a list of states and people who have been identified and whether the ID was issued or rejected. And there are a few rejections, but Tennessee does have one entry.
One entry.
Tennessee has one entry from 2014.
Even though I did it twice. I've done it twice.
Okay. Yours was the same. It's the same name, so they're going off the initial. Yours was a renewal.
Oh yeah.
No, it was. I have a handgun.
Oh, it was the handgun carried?
You did it for a handgun too.
I guess I need to. I guess I need to
license.
edit the wiki. I guess I can edit it myself. But yeah, you have a. Did you know that you were on there?
Had no clue.
Interesting. I was just scrolling through. I was like, what the fuck? Who found that and put that on there? I'm just very curious on that.
I mean, Friendly Atheist wrote an article about me.
That's true. They did.
Yeah. So there was some media.
It could have been anyone who just updated who just updated.
That was
it,
years ago, and then I did it again, 2020 for my handgun.
Didn't you get more flack in 2020 than you did initially?
No, I didn't get anything in 2020. In fact, I found out that the DMV uses my picture in a training.
Oh.
So,
you're even more famous.
It may be the Department of Homeland Security and Safety. Aren't they the ones who oversee ultimately all the DMV
I'm really
stuff?
not sure. Now, the first picture, was that a red colander or was it a stainless steel one?
So what happened the first time, actually?
Did they even ask, by the way? I just real quick. Did they even ask?
Let me just.
Okay.
I'll get into this.
Go for it. Sorry.
So, I got pulled over in fucking this nothing little town on the border of Tennessee and Kentucky, and I had to go to court. I called my lawyer, got my court date changed, but I was told it was a different court date. When the original court date came up, I got a call saying there was a warrant out on me because I didn't show up to court. And I explained that, hey, my lawyer told me it was this day, calls were made, everything was straightened out, I didn't get arrested. But, so it's months later, I got all of that taken care of. Things are dismissed. months later, I get a letter in the mail saying my license is being suspended. It's right before fucking Christmas. I had plans to go visit some friends and shit for Christmas. And I'm, like, pissed off because this is money that I have to pay to get my license reinstated. Even though it wasn't, like, my mistake, nobody was willing to help me. So, like, I'm sitting there, like, waiting to get off work to get this taken care of. I'm like, man, if I go in there like this, every time I look at my fucking driver's license, I'm going to be pissed off. I started thinking about the colander. I was like, if I'd go in there with a colander on my head, I'm like, every time I look at my license, I'll be, like, laughing. Like, so, yeah, on the way there, I stopped at, like, a fucking dollar store or something, got whatever colander I could find to kind of fit my little head. And I wore it the whole time I was in there. There were 3 women out in the little area when I walked in, and one of them like asked what I was there to do. I explained, and she ducked out like early. She was like, "I fucking can't with this shit."
You know she went back and just horse laughed. You know she horse laughed because that's a ridiculous looking colander too. It was not like
yes. So she left 2 other women out there who were like very professional. They like took me through all the paperwork to get my license taken care of, and then they were like, "All right, we need you to take off the hat." I was like, "But it was my understanding you had a religious exemption." And she, like, I had printed out the flying spaghetti monster highlighted. This is a real religion. This is a mock religion, all throughout their description and stuff. And I hand her the paperwork. She looks at it and starts twisting in her chair, like grabbing all around her, like she didn't know. She's like, I don't know. Hands it to another lady who's like, I'm going to have to go call a supervisor. And the one lady goes back and she makes the call. It's just me and one lady. That's only ones in there at this point in time. And she's like, "So what is this?" I was like, "It's a flying spaghetti monster." She's like, "But what is it?" I'm like, "Exactly what you would think." Like, waving my arms in my hair. I'm like, "It's flying spaghetti." Really? Yeah. I was like I was like, "You have your God, this is our God." Like, before she had to endure too much, the other lady came back and she's like, "All right, write religious exemption on there." And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, like, I brought a friend with me. My friend had to, like, fucking leave. They couldn't keep from laughing.
I don't know that I could either. I mean,
I did not crack a smile either time. Well, actually, when I was waiting the second time, so the first time I went into the day. There was nobody in the DMV. I went right in, got everything taken care of. My fucking driver, or the carry permit, I went first thing in the morning thinking it would kind of be the same thing. It is fucking not.
No.
And this was COVID, so there was a line out the door. Like, nobody could be inside waiting, so everybody had to wait outside, and there's this line. And people were, like, seeing me with a colander on my head, and I see them, like, trying to take selfies, like, and being sneaky with me in the background, like I don't know what they're doing. Like, that's entertaining me. Like, but that's the, like, not only do I get a laugh out of doing it, like, everybody involved is fucking laughing. Whether at me or with me, I don't fucking care.
No, it was very interesting when I was looking up and trying to educate this person HR on the flying spaghetti monster. It was just a shock to me to see her name on the bottom. I was like, I gotta screenshot this and send it to you now. Like, did you know? So that's pretty funny.
Yeah, this is ACAB of the week.
All right, so our ACAB of the week features a black woman out of Philadelphia named Rakia Young regarding an interaction that happened when she drove in an area that was experiencing some protests last September, October in Philadelphia. The Fraternal Order of Police, which is the country's largest police union, posted a Facebook photo of Rakia Young's then 2-year-old son in a police officer's arms last October, claiming the child had been lost and wandering around aimlessly. However, police had actually taken the boy after cops smashed out Young's car windows with the child inside, dragged Young from the vehicle and beat her, according to the attorneys. And this is the post that they put. So they had this picture of this officer holding a barefoot child in her arms. And the caption said this is now a deleted post. It was shared over 700 times. This child was lost during the violent riots in Philadelphia, wandering around barefoot in an area that was experiencing complete lawlessness. The only thing this Philadelphia police officer cared about in that moment was protecting this child. We are not your enemy. We are the thin blue line, and we are, all capitalized, we are, the only thing standing between order and anarchy. Bullshit.
They're lying sons of bitches.
They beat this fucking woman, dragged her out of the car,
Dragged her
separated
kids out
her
of the
from,
car.
there was two kids. So
Two kids.
Who was the other one?
Her 16-year-old nephew was in the car. He, I think he got beaten as well.
All I know is that, so she was separated from them, not charged with anything. Then they used this fucking fake-ass publicity photo to shoot their own message. Now, it wasn't the actual police department. It was the largest union, the Fraternal Order Police, that posted this before it was deleted. But just exploiting the shit out of that image of a blatant fucking lie regarding the incidents. Now, apparently, so she was driving through the cul-de-sac, or what? It was not a cul-de-sac.
She was approaching the protest, and cops told her she needed to turn around, so she attempted a K-turn, and before making it through, they stopped her, beat her windows out, like busted her windows out, and then dragged her and her kids out of the car.
And then, of course, we saw that bullshit caption I mentioned earlier. Now, the city has agreed to pay out $2 million regarding that. And additionally, after an investigation, 2 officers were fired, and more than a dozen others are awaiting disciplinary action, according to the New York Times. Now she also just filed lawsuit on September 9th, just days before the settlement was announced. Now, she's suing for...
Because the first lawsuit was just for over the beating.
Right, okay.
So the second lawsuit is over her son's pictures being used.
Right, so she's seeking more than $50,000 in damages in the suit. As her attorney said, she endured harassment, anxiety, depression, and a damaged reputation. Of course, right, because they're portraying her as a, terrible mother that just let her child wander aimlessly during a riot, perhaps?
I bet it wasn't even a riot. I bet it was a fucking peaceful protest.
No. That's what they said, that during the violent riots. I'm talking about how they captured that, how they captioned that picture.
Yeah.
They said violent riots, but they always do that when there's any times of protest, regardless of whether there's any damage or violence or not. They always categorize them as riots, especially when they're protesting police.
A water bottle was thrown. It's a riot!
Fucking cops, man. They fucking suck. I'm going to say it every week.
Do you want to give me your same rant earlier about it's the same shit every week?
That's what I just said. I said it's the same shit every week. It's almost like I said this before, like 5 minutes ago. You know, that's what it feels like.
If only we were being recorded before.
It literally does feel like we just said this 5 minutes ago.
It's just every week it's this.
So you know what the leading cause of death among law enforcement is right now, right?
Monologue law enforcement.
I would.
I thought I would have guessed suicide.
No, like above both gun deaths and like traffic accidents combined. COVID.
There's one locally. There's one locally who is like I'm not sure which county. But one of their deputies is hospitalized with COVID, and I went to their fucking Facebook page to see if I could find any like Herman Cain award worthy shit. But
yeah, you're trying to get on that.
I was trying to get on that. There was a lot of like anti-Biden stuff. Nothing, and I'm almost wondering if like that was like deleted while he was in the hospital, all the public ones, because when you see all those kind of posts, it's the same kind of people that make the because in the post they said it was unclear whether he was vaccinated or not, which is code for he wasn't vaccinated. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm going to get some fucking Herman Cain award material here, but unfortunately I think they screwed up.
I'm mining for karma. Sorry.
I was going to mine for karma on that.
From this article, even as COVID-19 surpasses other causes of deaths for law enforcement officers, many police unions, including Chicago, New York, and Seattle, have fiercely opposed vaccine mandates. At a briefing on Monday, the New Jersey State Police Superintendent said he believes the officer reluctance to get vaccinated has contributed to the apparent COVID-19 related deaths. Last week, 22 law enforcement officers nationwide died.
Well, I think that it's right that they should all not get the vaccine. Every cop should not get the vaccine, and they should have to mouth kiss every day before work.
Yep.
Mouth kiss every
They have
day.
to mouth kiss before work.
It's funny. There was someone shared a. I'm a Reddit whore. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And there is there's a subreddit called "Data is Beautiful" or "Data is Beautiful," depending on if you say data correctly or not.
Yeah, if you're northern or southern, that's how that is, right?
Oh, is it? I'm not sure.
No.
I think I used it intermingling. I think I used it differently, but I just say data or data.
With context, it changes. That's right.
But there was one that shows that professions with the highest deaths within the industry, and regarding the deadliest jobs, police isn't nowhere near the top of that list.
No, my job is more dangerous than theirs.
Drivers, sales truck workers are above them.
Pizza delivery man.
Yeah,
right?
that's under the drivers and
Maintenance and repair workers are above them. Grounds maintenance workers are above them. Taxi drivers and chauffeurs are above them. Farmers, ranchers, agricultural managers are above them.
They're
Roofers, and then of course aircraft pilots and flight engineers. Now that's probably not professional or commercial ones. Those tend to be pretty safe, but more private planes probably. Fishers and related fishing workers, and the top one with the deadliest job is logging workers, but. These people are spouting this thin blue line that these people are putting their lives on the line for us. I'm like, it's a job they signed up for.
Yep.
They knew the risk of doing so, just like anyone else on this list of deadliest jobs that has more deaths per 100,000 than, there's a lot. There's probably 20 listed above them that accept this job, and no one sucks their dick off.
If I died tomorrow, is there going to be is my job title going to be in my obituary, and will I be celebrated for it?
You'll have your own flag.
What
color line do we use for your job?
What color line do we put on the flag for you?
It has to be black.
Without you.
But yeah, there's all these people like, I support my law enforcement. I support.
It's fascist
them.
bootlicking.
It is.
I feel the same about soldiers too, though. Like I recently saw some guy who, he was going through some shit, but then he made sure to throw in he's the veteran. I'm like, why did you want to throw that in? Like, your service doesn't actually make you more special than anybody else. Like, we all have jobs. That's what it was. It was a job that you signed up for. You weren't, like, we don't have a draft going right now. You weren't forced in there against your will. You signed up voluntarily, like the rest of us do, for our jobs. And
don't tell me they paid attention to the news and they're like, I really want to expand oil companies' bottom line. That's why I want to join the military. That's what I want to do.
Like, most of them are duped, and I understand that. And they, I think a lot of dumb young kids join the military thinking they're fighting for their country. I know, I believe my dad, that's what made him do it when he was younger, is he really thought that's what you do if you want to do something good for your country. And then they get in a lot of times and realize, oh, fuck, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah, and a lot of... I get the same thing. I have the same kind of feeling towards soldiers or towards military as well, because they have some... I think there's some veneer about it, and that that they should be revered above everyone else. And a lot of times, your maintenance, you're not even on the front lines.
No.
You're not seeing combat.
No.
And even those that are, they signed up for that. They know exactly what they're doing when they signed up for it. They knew the risk involved. And again, it is a profession. It is a job they signed up for, no more than anyone else that has a dangerous job that they do for the betterment of society. I mean, a lot of the jobs provides a benefit for society, and I don't see military employment any differently.
Are we going to end another show with your dog molesting our producer?
Yes. Is it distracting you again?
Yeah.
So what happens is the new kitten has climbed the legs, and this happens almost weekly. And as a result, Tino cleans the wounds for her while we're recording. Avert your eyes out. Avert your eyes.
Her with his tongue, and all you hear is.
I'm not going to let that into the recording.
Do it. Do it.
You're going to trigger someone who hates that sound, because
as long as they give us views, I don't care.
People, it sounds like when you can hear someone open mouth chewing. I fucking hate that.
Do it. Leave it in there.
Damn it. You know what? Because we're so long, might as well. We have no content. Might as well piss some people off hearing you right in their ears. I'm hoping that with them lossless audio with their fucking headphones and shit. Just kidding.
Is
Well, I'm
that
just gonna kill it.
ASMR or whatever.
Yeah.
maybe relaxing. Yay for a quiet week. There was not a lot to talk
It's
about.
very, very quiet week. Not a lot going on. Nothing. It's a good thing.
Same apocalypse, different week.
We didn't mention during the record, though, that Tennessee is now number one again. We're number one again as the highest.
Same shit, different year, different month.
We called it. I didn't think it would happen until October, but we're already number one in cases per capita.
I wouldn't have thought October. I knew it was going to be before then.
I was basing it off of last year's data.
We'll probably ride that number one through October.
Man, go Tennessee. I don't understand how with the we don't have a huge booming populous centers that even we're beating fucking California, which has
Bill
the largest,
Lee.
Yeah, valid.
Marsha Blackburn.
Or Tennessee residents. That's how I
Patty fucking Bounds.
Yeah.
Mike Sleepy McMillan.
Nurse Debbie.
God damn, fucking Nurse Debbie. Fuck her.
All I have to do is trigger Al. Just say Nurse Debbie. Like your list of nemesis are growing. Like how do you keep up with them all?
I have a spreadsheet.
Fucking spreadsheet.
You think I'm kidding?
Spreadsheet interacted with this day, sent this correspondence, told them to fuck off, called her and said she had the stankiest of stanky cooches.
I emailed and said that.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up for episode 32 of Apostates on the Fringe. Thank you guys again for joining us this week. As always, check us out on social media. If you'd like links to the articles or to contact the show, visit apostatepod.com. Please continue to share the show everywhere you can. Leave us a 5-star review, and we'll see you all next week.
Fuck Dusty Snout. I mean, I'm sorry, Nurse Patty. Or
Yeah.
Nurse Debbie.
You want it? Third time's a charm.
Keep
Good
it.
job. Good job.
Fuck the Chinese government
And their effeminate ban.
and their ban on effeminates.
Thank you all very much.
Apostates on the Fringe. Apostates on the Fringe.
The views and opinions of the hosts of Apostates on the Fringe do not represent the views and opinions of the Atheist Society of Knoxville. For links to all our musical contributors, go to apostatepod.com and check the About Us page. A big thank you to Michael Scott Arden, who allows the show to use his full catalog.